If you're new to CSS, you might be wondering about the different ways to style your HTML. Well, there are three methods to do that, and the first one we'll look at is inline styling. And inline styling can be added by using the style attribute, and inside the double quotes, you can style your element using the following syntax. You start with a property name, for example, color. Next, you add a colon, and then you define the color value, such as red, and you end it with a semicolon. And you'll see that the color turns red. Maybe you also want to change the background color. In that case, you use the property background color. You add a colon, and then you specify the color value. Let's go for black, and you end it with a semicolon. Now, there is an issue with this approach. What if we wanted the other H2 element to have the same style? You see, now we have to repeat the same code. Now, in this case, we're dealing with just two H2 elements. But imagine if we had 10. Then we would have to repeat the same code for each one of them, which is repetitive work, right? Now, that's not even the biggest issue. What if later on, we decide to change the color of the H2 elements to, for example, pink? And in that case, we have to repeat the same work for all the other H2 elements. And in this case, we only have two H2 elements, but as I've said, it could be 10. And because of that, you should never style your elements this way. So what are the alternatives? Well, another way is by using internal styling. And to do that, inside the head element, you have to create a style element first. And here you can use selectors to target your elements. For example, you can use a tag selector, which lets you target an element based on its tag name. For example, H1, H2, P, and so on. And to do that, you just write the tag name, for example, P, followed by two curly braces. And inside the curly braces, you first hit enter. And the syntax is similar to before. First, you write a property name, like color, then a colon, followed by the value, and let's go for red, and you end it with a semicolon. And you can see that all the paragraphs are red now. So internal styling is definitely better than inline styling because we can target multiple elements at once using selectors, which means we can define the styles once and it will apply to all the elements with the same tag name, like all the paragraphs in this case. If we later decide to make the text color lime, we just need to do it once and it will change for all the paragraphs. So we don't need to change each one separately, which is a huge advantage over inline styling. But there's still one issue with this approach. A website usually consists of multiple pages. So what if we add another HTML page and we wanted to use the same styling there? Because usually you want the pages to be styled in a similar way, right? So we would have to copy all the code we wrote just so we can use it on another page, which is again repetitive work. And even though our CSS might be short here, style sheets can get pretty long though. And the only good way to style your elements is by using external styling, which means you should have a separate CSS file where you can add all your styles and then you can just use that across all pages. So let's open the Explorer tab and create a new file. And it's common to call it styles, and we need to end it with the CSS extension. And with that, we created our CSS file. The next step is to link the CSS file to our HTML file. To do that, inside the head section of our HTML file, we create a link element, which comes with two attributes. And the first one is rel, which stands for relationship. And here we have to define the relationship between the current document and the linked path, which should be set to style sheet. And the next attribute is the href attribute. And here you have to specify the location of the file. And since both the HTML and CSS file are in the same folder, we can just enter the name of the file, which is styles.css. Now, the benefit of having a separate CSS file is that we can link it to multiple HTML files simply by using this link element, which means we can define the styles once, and then we can use them on all the pages that we want. Now, in the CSS file, we can target specific elements to style them the way we want. So let's use a tag selector and target the paragraph once again. And let's set the color to red. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.